on the track.
Okay, so today I'm really excited about Run Talk episode 3. Why? Why? Because we've got Dan Russell here with us, and Dan is, I'd like to say, a friend, a guy I've known from working in agency life for many years, and he's produced probably one of the best campaigns I think I've ever seen. It was very much, that campaign was about mental health, and mental health is a big part of what we're trying to help raise awareness of through Run Riot. Running is released for us is much more about the mental health benefits than it is necessarily the physical benefits of running. That's quite a long preamble there, Dan.
A great one.
Maybe over to you to explain what I'm talking about. The campaign, I am going to put links to it so people can see the films, but the invisible opponent, tell us more.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Dom. Thanks for the intro. I'll try and remember as much as I can about it. But yeah, I mean, Calm was a great passion project of mine. I've got loads of, I guess, history, and I go back a long way, and I know quite a few people at the charity and been helping them a long time.
And that's Calm is Campaign Against Living Miserably,
yes.
Right?
So essentially male suicide charity. I think like the stats at the time was like 125 people each week die by suicide, and 75% of those are male, and that's obviously not okay. It doesn't have to be that way, and Calm basically exists to be in your corner. So anyone can call. They've got an online services, and they've got a helpline which is open like 24/7, so you can call. Anyone who's struggling can call anytime.
But what was the invisible opponent? Particularly, talk me through that first creative piece that you did with Tyson Fury.
There was a funny podcast with Simon Gunnan, the CEO of Calm, on Jamie Lang's podcast, where he spoke about some guy queuing up for hours at Waterstones at Tyson Fury's book signing to try and get Tyson on board with this idea, which is kind of true, but as Simon said, never let a good story get in the way of a good idea. But so it was around the time that Tyson Fury was having his trilogy fight with Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
He just had that like epic fight where he had basically been knocked down and is on the canvas till like 9 seconds or whatever, and then out of nowhere he managed to just get up and find something within him just to get up. And we were watching, I wasn't with the other guys at the time, but I was watching BBC Sports Personality of the Year. Gary Lineker was interviewing Tyson Fury, and it was all like boxing chat. It was like, oh, when's your next fight with Deontay? Are you going to win and whatever? And Tyson said, I don't want to talk about boxing. Right. I just want to send a message that however hard you get knocked down in life, always make sure you get back up.
Right.
And at the time, it was amazing. I mean, Tyson's obviously a polarising character, but at that time, he actually showed himself as a real advocate for mental health. Yeah. And it was right then, like, actually, that's pretty amazing, and we can do something with that. And with BT Sport, we had the studio. Obviously, we knew the marketing director and all the peeps around there, and they led us into the studio. We got all the footage of Deontay from the night, and a lot of footage from the cameras that hadn't even shown footage on that evening. And we basically cut a 60-second film with Tyson fighting Deontay, but frame by frame, 25 frames a second, we literally rubbed out Deontay, so it looked like Tyson was basically getting beaten up by himself, which is just an amazing proxy for mental health. And the idea at the end of it, or the line at the end of it, was sometimes the toughest opponents are the ones you can't see. And for anyone struggling, call this number and you can be helped. So the idea really just came out of that, and really the story is about how we initially got that idea and the sort of 2 years that followed to actually make it happen.
And I think the other thing is Tyson Fury is your kind of typical alpha male. He's a boxer and one of the best, and he's a big guy.
He's the hardest man on earth.
He's the hardest man on earth.
There are a lot of different types of runners. You've got the really geeking out on their heart rate zones and their Garmin data and their Strava data and their lactate thresholds, etc. You've got the people, the men and women who do it for community, for the social aspect. You've got people who do it because they want to be out in beautiful nature. What kind of runner, what kind of tribe do you think you belong to?
Yeah, I don't know what a lactose threshold is, so probably not that one.
Lactate.
Lactose. Okay. Lactose.
You're not that.
That sounds even worse. Yeah, cool. So I'm probably somewhere in between. I mean, I use Strava. I like to get out. There's so much about the positive benefits of being out in nature and the outdoors anyway. But I think, like I said with Dom earlier, I'm super competitive, but I don't like to train. So I'm more of a
what a combo.
I'm a match day, just turn up and do whatever it takes. But so I'm a casual runner. I do like a run in the week, and I like to do a sort of 10k on the weekends. Yeah. But and then if I have a race, I'll work towards that a little bit. But yeah, I'd say I'm a pretty like casual runner.
Tell us about the second in the series, Invisible Opponent.
Yeah, cool. So yes, I mean, I guess overall what we're trying to achieve with the whole Invisible Opponent platform was just try and show people that talking about mental health or anxiety or depression is not a weakness, it's a strength. And it does take a lot of guts and courage to open up, and that should be commended, you know, it should not be the opposite. So, and obviously using a hard man like Tyson Fury shows you that it is actually okay. If he can do it, you can too. But I guess the difference with Declan is he himself hadn't had his own issues with depression and suicidal thoughts in the same way that Tyson had, but he was a mega star with a platform, and he wanted to use his platform as a voice to try and do some good in the world. And obviously he's been through ups and downs like any footballer. He's had injuries, he's nearly missed tournaments, and he's obviously had friends that have struggled properly himself. So, you know, more than a credible character to talk about these things. But what we wanted to do as a sort of follow-up to Tyson Fury is just after lockdown, and we wanted to focus on a bit more of an element of mental health, which was loneliness specifically. So obviously at the back of lockdown, everyone's at home, they're spending loads of time at home. Loneliness was a big issue, and it is a big contributing factor to suicidal thoughts. So yeah, Declan, again, same technique. We took loads of footage of the Euros, and we shot some other footage and made it a bit more cinematic and made it a bit bigger as a sort of production, in terms of production values. But the idea was basically that even when you're surrounded by people, you've got loads of players on the pitch around, you can still feel alone. And that was basically the premise that we brought to life in the second film.
Yeah, and it's amazing because both films complement each other, but with slightly different angles in terms of that mental health perspective.
I have a theory, there is a runner in everyone. You've just got to run enough to find them. You know what I mean? You've got to get through the grind. You've got to get through that first kilometre if you can't do a kilometre, or that first mile, or that first 5K. But there comes a moment when you kind of get it, and you get that running is released. You get those kind of mental benefits from it. Do you find that's the same?
100%. Yeah. And I think I think back to a couple of jobs ago, we all had MyZone heart rate monitors at work, and that's quite interesting because whether you're an ultramarathon runner or can hardly get off the couch, because it measures a percentage of your own heart rate, it's always relative, so you don't feel like, oh, I can't run because I'm not as quick as you or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just about getting up and getting out and feeling good about it at the end of it. Yeah,
it's funny, isn't it, because you and Don were talking earlier, and I'm relatively similar. We all get a little bit competitive, but what I do like about running is you also kind of just have your own level, don't you? And it is very inclusive, isn't it? You know, you can be doing the couch to 5K and doing it super slow, but the sort of value of that is you've actually got to that goal of having finally got to be able to running 5K, or you can be one of those crazy ultra marathon runners and everything in between. And I think that's one of the best things about running, I think. I think the couch to 5K thing, that's just to get you started, isn't it? Hopefully off the back of that you then get the bug and you start doing a bit more. Whether you ever get to ultra marathon is another story, but Okay, the famous, infamous round of quick-fire questions. Are you ready?
That I haven't seen.
That you haven't seen? It'd be no good if you've seen them already. Okay. Running with people or by yourself?
Definitely by myself.
I'm exactly the same. Why, do you think?
Because I like to be on my own. Not generally, but when I'm running.
I'm exactly the same. Kilometres or miles?
I used to be miles when I did the marathon, but now 10Ks, 5Ks, I'm more into kilometres.
Is that because you can kind of track your pace that much better?
You can get through them quicker as well.
I think I'm on the same journey as you. I was miles, and now I'm transitioning into kilometres.
It's quite hard to get the change. Once
you'd think it wouldn't be, but for some reason I still think in miles. Morning or evening runs?
I think maybe, this is a quick, I have to be quicker, don't I? Morning, I'm going to say. Because my body works more in the morning.
I'm the opposite. I think my peak time is around 2 p.m. I need the whole morning to wake up.
To be fair, I prefer a mid-morning. But if I'm not working, then 11 o'clock is like ideal.
Okay. So, rain or heat?
Heat.
Really?
Heat. My fastest half is actually in the hail, because I just wanted to finish. But generally I prefer running in the...
It's motivating when it's cold.
Gets you to finish. But generally the heat.
Okay, here's a good one, having just talked about marathon. 5K or marathon?
5K now. Definitely. Yeah, 5K.
Is that just because you like the pace of it? You don't want to train for the longer distances because of time?
All of it, yeah. I like the shorter, quicker runs at the moment. It's just easy, and you just don't have enough time to train for a marathon anymore. So prefer these ones.
I think I know the answer to this from your discussion with Dom earlier. Music or no music?
Definitely music. Loud music.
I've got a few new ones here.
Go on then.
Stretching or no stretching?
I don't really stretch.
You should. I don't stretch either. Hill sprints or slow and steady?
Slow and steady, probably.
Yeah.
Even though I just said 5Ks over marathons. Slow, steady 5K.
And then the final bonus one, my daughter added this one this morning. Gels or jelly babies?
Oh, definitely gels. Yeah, definitely gels. Well, that sounds off for jelly babies. I'll have them.